The avoidant person's return after withdrawal or separation creates a critical moment that determines whether the relationship will evolve into healthier patterns or simply repeat the same painful cycle of connection followed by abandonment. Their reappearance often triggers overwhelming relief and temptation to immediately restore previous dynamics, yet how someone responds to their return establishes either foundation for genuine transformation or permission to continue exploitative patterns. Strategic response balances openness to reconnection with protection of self-worth and standards for healthy relationship behavior. Maintain emotional composure and avoid immediate availability. The person receiving the avoidance return should resist the urge to respond with eager enthusiasm or immediate availability that suggests they have been waiting desperately for this moment. Emotional composure communicates that life has continued fulfilling and complete during the absence, that the avoidant person's return is noticed but not desperately needed. This measured response prevents immediate restoration of the power imbalance where the avoidant holds all control through their ability to withdraw and return at will. Maintaining some unavailability through genuine commitments and existing plans demonstrates that emotional investment has shifted during separation. The response should be warm but not overwhelming, interested but not desperate, friendly but not immediately accommodating. This balance communicates that reconnection remains possible but not guaranteed, that their return does not automatically restore previous relationship dynamics. The avoidant person needs to encounter someone who has genuinely moved forward rather than someone who remained frozen waiting for their eventual return. Require acknowledgement and accountability before restoration. The person responding should clearly communicate that meaningful reconnection requires the avoidant person to acknowledge their previous behavior and its impact. This means direct conversation about what caused the separation, recognition of how their withdrawal affected their partner, and articulation of what has changed internally that makes different behavior possible. Without this accountability, reconnection simply enables the same patterns to repeat indefinitely. The response should include questions about what prompted their return, what internal or external factors have shifted, and what specifically will be different moving forward. These inquiries assess whether their return stems from genuine growth and desire for healthier connection or temporary loneliness that will evaporate once they feel secure again. The avoidant person must demonstrate through words and actions that they recognize their patterns and have done internal work rather than simply returning because their attempt at independence proved uncomfortable. Establish clear boundaries and standards for continued connection. The person responding should articulate specific requirements for sustainable relationship moving forward, including consistency in communication, reciprocal emotional availability, and clarity about intentions and commitment level. These boundaries protect against accepting the same breadcrumbs and ambiguity that characterize previous dynamics. The standards should reflect genuine needs rather than punitive measures, communicating what healthy relationship requires. The response should make explicit that hot and cold patterns, disappearing acts, and emotional unavailability will not be tolerated moving forward regardless of attachment wounds or psychological struggles. Compassion for their difficulties can coexist with firm boundaries about acceptable behavior. The avoidant person needs to understand that reconnection depends on their willingness to challenge their defensive patterns rather than expecting their partner to indefinitely accommodate their limitations. Observe actions over extended time before trusting fully. The person responding should maintain healthy skepticism and observe whether the avoidant person demonstrates sustained behavioral changes rather than temporary improvements motivated by fear of permanent loss. Trust should be rebuilt gradually through consistent actions over weeks and months rather than immediate restoration based on promises or temporary shifts. This protective approach prevents premature reinvestment in someone who has not genuinely transformed their relational capacity. The response involves giving opportunity for reconnection while maintaining emotional protection and willingness to walk away if patterns reemerge. The avoidant person's return should be treated as beginning of potential healing process rather than resolution of previous issues.